Voice of Metal. Oh, welcome back to the Voice of Metal. So, yeah, it takes forever to load. Anyway, welcome back. Thanks, and I appreciate all the new people that are following and liking and subscribing because the fact without you guys, this channel won't grow and be so extreme that we will get to the point where we'll have enough subscribers so we can ask our major metal bands out there to come and interview with me. So to answer your questions, to ask personal questions about the musicians themselves, and maybe a little bit about the music as well, which is what I'm hoping to do. A little bit of both. So we'll see. Maybe just some basic questions for them to find out, so we know what's going on. Right. Right now, I thought it'd be an interesting topic. I'd seen an article about different groups and metal bands that are or I should say albums that will be turning 30 this year, which I'm going to be turning 50 this year. So that means I was 20 years old when these albums came out. And there's so many different rock and metal albums that were so phenomenal back in the day that it's just hard to imagine it's been 30 years already. They're older than my son is. He's like 18 this, no, that was last year. He'll be 19 this year, which is kind of crazy to think that my son is younger than most of these albums are that he, some of them actually listens to and enjoys himself. So I've instilled that with him, and I'm hoping that other people have done the same thing with their kids too, that grew up listening to the same kind of music I did in my 20s and 30s and 40s. Well, actually, though, my entire life, practically. I mean, some of my changes in musical stuff did kind of evolve over time. And I wasn't like super heavy when I was younger all the way. I was more into the rock, but I was kind of switching over to that. I was getting into some of the heavy stuff, mostly on the radio, because we all probably heard most of our stuff on the radio, unless maybe you had somebody that knew somebody that had maybe a collection of some album you've never heard of, or I mean, they're not radio friendly, or they're not in the mainstream music. So some of these I might not have heard of back in the day, but I kind of remember some of them. Like Aerosmith's "Get a Grip" was one for sure. Anthrax, "Sound of White Noise," that was a very good album at the time. It's phenomenal. It peaked at number 7 apparently on the Billboard 200 chart. I'm reading this off of an article that I was looking at. There was even Sepultura's "Chaos AD," and I forgot what ranking was at the time. Death was another one. They had their "Individual Thought Patterns" was out. Oh, Lenny Kravitz, I forgot. "Are You Gonna Go My Way?" That was a very, very good song and album. I don't know all the songs on that album, unfortunately, because, like I said, radio. So I only knew what they played on the radio at the time. Oh, of course, a very well, how do I say, a man that has, how would you say, impressed and inspired probably a lot of musicians out there was Meatloaf, I think. "Bat Out of Hell 2, "Back to Hell," and I think I remember one of the songs that had Lita Ford in it. I believe. I'm not sure if that one was the one that did that. Somebody might have to correct me on that. Yep, "I Will Do Anything for Love and I Won't Do That." That was it. And that's who was singing. I believe who was singing that. The Melvins, "Houdini," "Morbid Angel," of course, back in 2000. Did not get on the charts. That's probably the reason why I didn't hear that much about Morbid Angels. I've heard the name, I knew the band, but I never heard much of their music back then. And of course, Nirvana. We all know and love Nirvana, regardless if you're a metalhead that kind of dabbles, or I mean, we all started kind of in the rocket phase. I would say most, not everybody. At least I did anyway when I was growing up. In Utero, that was the one. Peaked at number one in the Billboard 200, which is really phenomenal. Um, Back in the day, I remember that very well. And then I'm not sure exactly when Kirk had killed himself. Um, the only thing is, I could have sworn that he passed away when I was in high school, but I don't know why it is that I wasn't 20 then. I was, of course, when I'm in high school. So I'm not sure. I'd have to go thinking about this for a little longer. But anyway, going on to the next one, Pearl Jam, of course, was good. Number one on the billboards for a while. It looks like Porno for Pyros. I don't remember listening to this one, but I could be wrong. I might know some of the songs off of that one. Of course, Primus. We all know and love that, right? My Name is Mud. That was like a huge hit. Huge, huge rock hit at the time. And there's also kind of Radiohead and some other ones. Rush is another one. Sepultura. There you go. KSAD. That was my introduction to Sepultura itself. When I first heard, and the very first album I had ever heard was that album. Slave New World and Refuse Resist was playing on Headbangers Ball back then, and I just absolutely fell in love with the music and the way it sounded. It was just a lot heavier than a lot of the stuff at the time that I was listening to, and I had to go out and buy it. So I went to a place local in Colorado Springs when I was living here called Earth Pig Music, and they had all kinds of stuff. They had like all these different really cool metal covers and this, that, and a lot of them I didn't even know. So it was like, for me, it was like this kind of experience, like getting into this new realm of music and stuff. And a lot of, I hate to say it, most of those albums I did not listen to, the real heavy stuff. Oh, of course, by far the one, along with Chaos AD, was Tool and the Undertow. Actually, though, I think their first album, which was probably before, well, of course, was before that. I could have sworn that was in college, but maybe, I know that was in college, but yeah, Sober and Prison Sex. But apparently it was released, well, I guess that sounds about right, because I was in college then. And I remember it very well, because when I saw the video for the first time, I was thinking, this group is so unique and so different, kind of like some like System of a Down that I didn't know at the time back in 2000, that some of the songs were so different from anything else out there at the time that I said, these guys are going to be huge. This is going to be a phenomenal album. They are going to make a big name for themselves, right? And I knew that just because the way I felt and how I felt about what I listened to in music. And I'm a lot pickier about that because, like I said before, you listen to it on the radio, you kind of pick and choose what you want. And sometimes you go, okay, now, do I want to spend my money on this album or that album, at the time? Because if you're younger, and like me, I was going to college, I didn't have a lot of disposable income because I was paying for most of my college myself when I was going to graphic design school, which unfortunately I'm not doing now, but long story on that one. But anyway, what it boils down to is when I heard this, I think I had just seen the video before my one class. I'm trying to remember. I know it was a drawing class, I'm pretty sure, and I had a teacher that was mostly dressed in black, and she had really short, kind of reddish black hair, and it was kind of like a bowl cut, but not quite like a bowl cut. And she was very unique. She always wore like kind of interesting silvery jewelry, and she always had this kind of artsy fartsy kind of look to them, but kind of reminds you of metal music. And that's kind of why I said, or I told her about the band myself at that time, that this is so phenomenal. I said I think you really enjoy this because of not only the music is unique, but also the video itself was sober, was awesome. And Prison Sex eventually, I think that came out later on, I believe, but I'm not certain. I do know Sober. I do remember that very clearly. It was just phenomenal at the time. Anyway, and of course, our all-time favorite of that era was Type O Negative. Bloody Kisses. You cannot go without having some Type O Negative in your life, right? It was one of the phenomenal bands of the time. The only thing is, I think the only thing I can say that may not be in a positive light is some of it does sound somewhat similar. So that's the only thing. I think there's certain bands that do that, but a lot of bands do that. You kind of know based on how they play it, when they play it on the radio. If you hear that like a new album for the first time, you'll know just because of the way their style of music. So that's probably what it is. I there are some bands that I felt like that was kind of the how you say, the way I assumed that they would play, or they play it like that for a reason, I guess. I don't know. I'm trying to remember which one I'm thinking of. Def Leppard, I think that was one. I didn't really. I mean, I was impressed with the drummer. I mean, that was about it. I mean, it was really good music, but everything kind of was the same. I think sometimes Five Finger Death Punch feels that way. If they do produce a new album and they see this is the last album their lead singer is going to be in, because he did announce his retirement, so to speak. But we'll see what happens later on down the road, because a lot of bands are doing a comeback, which that's what I'm going to be talking about here soon. Or I should say they're releasing new albums in 2023 and a little bit in 2022. I saw a few of those and a few concerts they were touring because of that. The one thing that was rather interesting is that I'm surprised Type O Negative hasn't done anything that I know of yet, unless I just haven't seen it. Somebody else might have seen it. I might have missed it, because they're a really good band. I don't know the whole story. If sometimes I didn't. Let's put it this way: the last 20 years with my son, 18 years, I haven't been really keeping up with what's been going on a lot of bands. And even one band, I didn't even realize the one singer had passed away until years later, which is Static X, unfortunately. And I was thinking, why aren't they putting out a new album? I was waiting there and waiting. I said, okay, they're going to be coming out with a new album sooner or later, kind of like Metallica has one. And they've been consistently doing that every 5 to 6 years, typically, just like the new Terminator film. So be on the lookout for a new Terminator film, because I almost guarantee you there will be one, because that's what usually happens. So right around the same time Metallica puts out a new album. I don't know why. If you look at the years and you Google it, you'll see that I'm right on that. It's not precisely 5 years, but it's somewhere around there. Anyway, let's move on. U2, which I'm not super big on. That was not one of my bands, because I was, like I said, more heavier bands of myself. I guess that was the bottom of the list. So I guess there's I forgot what Bloody Kisses was the album from Type O Negative. There's Smashing Pumpkins. That was a good one, even though it's not really metal per se, but it's still a good album. They got some good, pretty good songs in there. I mean, for what it was at the time. A lot of people that are not into metal liked it. Rush was another one. I forgot about Rush. Radiohead. I think I mentioned that earlier. Porno for Pyros. Liz. I don't remember Liz. Far, I think is. Yeah, that one I don't remember at all, so I apologize. So if anybody's a fan of theirs, I don't know that one as well. Kind of like some other ones, of course. But there are some people that are coming back out these last few years, releasing new comeback albums, which Blink 182 is one of them for a rock band. Merciful Fate is another. Stain, Avenged Sevenfold, which I didn't even know they were actually producing a new album, so that's kind of interesting. Some of them I did know. Now, Valio, I don't know him that well. I probably have heard his music before, but I don't know. And Iggy Pop, of course, we all know and love Iggy Pop, right? That was like phenomenal stuff, you know, great things from him. Um, I don't know this gentleman. I'm not sure. It's probably a rock star. Paramore, I don't know that one either. I do know King Diamond, of course, because they're a metal band. Metallica, System of a Down, of course. Oh no, wait a minute. This is the top best albums of the 21st century that they're talking about after this article. I don't know why they seem to put like two different articles on here, but System of the Down, I will say, was really good back then. Overkill, Ironbound was another one. Napalm Death was one. Um, I don't know. Some of these, Hellstorm. I didn't know Hellstorm was even around then, but I guess they were. I didn't know them back then. I forgot what year that said it was. Oh, 2012. So it's not that old. So that's probably the reason why I don't know that. Power Trip, Nightmare Logic. Interesting. So some of these bands, things. To be honest, The Immortal, I don't know that one very well. Sons of Northern Darkness. So I guess I'm going to have to check that one out because it looks kind of cool. The cover's pretty awesome. The Shining at number 90. Spiritbox, Eternal Blue. That one, I know some of their stuff. I really do like some of their stuff. I haven't heard all their albums yet or songs. Let's see what other ones. Used. The Black Delilah Murder. Let's see here. Poison the Wall. You become before you. That one I haven't heard either. So yeah, there's a lot of them I haven't heard. So Bad Religion. I'm pretty sure I've heard that one. There's a couple of them. Shinedown, of course. Shinedown's been around for a very long time. They've been around for a very, very long time. This is in 2008, apparently. It's The Sound of Madness. I think I probably know some of the actual songs from there. High on Fire, Blessed Black Wings. Now, this one I definitely know for certain is Machine Head's The Blackening. And they have such awesome songs on that album. It is not even funny. It's so awesome. Well, this is rather interesting. The article talks about this in 2007. The leading track, Enthusiasts of Hate, was inspired of the death of Dimebag Darrell and written in response to a journalist who slammed the former Axeman following the tragedy. Rob Flynn and Phil's chemistry on the record couldn't be tighter, with a flawless execution of bruising riffs and frantic lead work. Yeah, that was that. I will say this: I didn't hear this album or these songs on Machine Head until just within the last couple of years, and I wish I would have known it sooner. And this is back in 2007, so I missed a lot. That was about the time my son. Well, see, 2004 is when my son was born, so it was a few years after that. Like I said, I was out of the loop for some of this stuff. So some of these that are in 2003, 2004, I only listened to certain. I just listened to what was playing on the radio most of the time. So I didn't know all these, unfortunately. Like Blink 182, I know. I'm not sure if I know that one. Linkin Park. I'm not a huge Linkin Park fan. I think there's a lot of people out there that might be, but who knows? They're not really metal. But, Carcass, Surgical Still. I think I remember hearing a few of their songs on maybe possibly the radio. Rush, Clockwork Angels, ISIS. See, some of these I know the songs, but I don't know the names of the bands of the things because they don't always tell you, or if you don't listen to it, you don't know. And you might hear it go, oh, I love this one. Oh, speaking of which, I just saw a video with the lead singer from Machine Head on Loudwire Presents. Suicide Silence, and this is where I'm getting the list from, is Loudwire, so you guys can go check that out. What was there? What is there? Baroness, Blue Records. I don't know. I think I've seen this before, or maybe I've heard it. I think that's just recently that I might have listened to some of their stuff, but I'm not certain on that based on some of the things I've listened to in the past and kind of getting bands that are closely related to other ones. Because I've been trying to do a lot more deep dives in some of the music so that way I hear much more than what the radio stations and radio broadcasters want you to hear. I want to hear a lot more. I want to know the whole album, since especially I don't have to buy the album in order to hear it. I can just listen to whatever I want. And I think that's the beauty of streaming versus a lot of other things. And that reminds me, speaking of which, when I was talking to, I can't remember her real name, but she's the lead singer of September Morning. She was talking about how they don't make a lot of money when we stream music, and they said the amount of streams they have to do in order to get just a certain amount of money is astronomical, from what it sounds like. I don't know the whole numbers. I'd have to get maybe them back on here to talk to you and tell you guys maybe the numbers on that. Especially her one of her main guitarists in the band. He's the techie kind of, the business side of things for her, kind of helping her get things going. So I think they work kind of close together as good friends and work on that kind of stuff. But anyway, I will say this much: when she said that, I think I might have mentioned, or maybe I was thinking, that if it wasn't for those streams, I would never have been to their concert. I would never have been there to buy shirts and concert tickets and listen to their music. So, and that reminds me of another band that I know and love, and I also, so I knew this person long before she was even in a band. I knew who she was. I had actually tried to find out who she was because I wanted to get to know her. I ain't gonna mention names, but we'll say that much. And it was just by chance that I happened to listen to their music, and I fell in love with the riffs. But I was thinking, okay, now the one thing I think makes a really good song, really good. There's a lot of good music out there, but there's some that are just more. It sticks to you. It's kind of like ribs. It sticks to your bones. Kind of, you know what I mean? Sticks to your ribs, kind of thing. You know what I mean? The saying about when you're eating good food. It's one of those things. There's food and then there's food, right? There's like music and then there's music, or metal music. There's something about a certain song that stirs emotions and feelings in the individual that listens to it. And we all know those feelings when we hear it. And when you hear the song, that this is going to be big. This is going to be a big band. This is one that I think a lot of people enjoy, and this part of the riff and all, we all know it. And even other musicians know that when they hear a song or somebody else, they're inspired by their music because this song inspired me to because of that. Or they do covers of the songs that we all know and love. The reason why, it's one of those songs, an iconic song. That is what got me started. But I said, let's hear their vocals. That was my key. I wasn't sure. This is a female. See, that's the thing, is this female singing the band, and I wasn't certain. I didn't even know until I heard it. I didn't even know at first it was a woman at first, and then I started listening to it a little longer, and then I realized it was. But I thought it was just one. It was two. And I was blown away. It was like one of those things that's like, wow, this is awesome. And lo and behold, I didn't know this either. Right away, I happened to be on their YouTube channel of things that they've done in the past, and I found that person, which it was several years later, and it was rather interesting. But I ain't gonna get into all that. But anyway, I'll keep going back to my list. But it's one of those things, it kind of brings that memory back for you when you, like, like your favorite. I, music does that for people. I think sometimes, like a moment in time or a feeling you get, or like even when you're at a school dance, you hear a sweet, soft song, or even like Cypress Hill's Jump in high school. We all know and love that. I know that everybody in my high school used to listen to that kind of stuff, and that was in some of our dances and things like that. So it was pretty awesome. Even though I didn't go to very many of those. Avenged Sevenfold, of course, Nightmare. That was the one. Um, yeah, it's as far as albums go that were really good. Between the Buried and Me, that one I don't know if, as well. This is a 2012 one, so I probably didn't know it. Multiple Ways, yeah, that one I've never heard, but I guess I might have to try it out. Art of Partying, blah 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 blah. Looks like an interesting album. Oh, and of course, Disturbed, The Sickness, Down with the Sickness, back in 2000. Definitely a good song. I did listen to that one. Stone Sour, definitely a good album. That reminds me, I've heard in articles that possibly they're not going to be, um, oh God, I can't believe I'm brain dead now with, the singer. God, Corey. Sorry, Corey. Anyway, they were. They had said that. Well, he had said in an article somewhere that he's thinking about maybe not. There might be not be doing any more Stone Sour stuff, because I don't know. Maybe it's because Slipknot's gotten so huge that it might be hard to keep up with all that. And actually, to be honest, I'm surprised he's actually doing 3 different things. He's got a book, well, actually 4. He's got a book, he's got his own music, which I didn't care for that much. I mean, I heard some of the stuff and it was okay. I mean, it was good, but it wasn't like phenomenally good. Um, Personally, Corey, I'm sorry. I know I'm a big fan of yours. I love the way you sing and this and there, but for some reason, it just doesn't do it for me. I think it's the complexity of the music. It's not the same. It's like Stone Sour. It's good. I love some of the songs, but it doesn't have that. Like I said, stirs those emotions, surfacing and wait and bleed and all the songs that we love. Before I Forget, my all-time favorite, of course. Can't live without Before I Forget. That was one of my favorite songs. I thought, and it still is a very big, popular song with me. Like a lot of other ones. Anyway, back to the list now. Sum 41. I'm not even sure how long I've been streaming for. Got 27 minutes. I don't want to go too long. Uh, Lenny Kravitz, oh, of course. Are You Gonna Go My Way? Definitely. Back in what? It doesn't even. They don't have a year on there. That's surprising. But definitely a good song. Heaven Help and Believe. Those were all good. I know it's not a metal song, but I'm going to touch on a few things besides that because rock is important just as much as heavy metal was back in the day. Of course, Meatloaf again, back at Bat out of Hell. That was another phenomenal album. And it was turning 30, right? Morbid Angels, another one. Melvins, the Houdini. I know I've heard some. Going Blind, Night Go. I'm pretty sure I've heard some of their stuff because I remember the album cover very well with the kids and the 2-headed dog. It's a rather interesting cover. And of course, Nirvana. We all love that. And it's In Utero, which is by the far the sickest and coolest album of theirs. I think personally, but it's a heart-shaped box. Rape Me, All Apologies, and Dumb. Yeah, Dumb. I'm gonna make sure I did say numb, not dumb. But anyway, bunch of other stuff. Oh, wait a minute. I think did I get on the wrong? Oh, yeah. Wait a minute. Hold on. I think I got on the wrong list. Oh God. Anyway, Sum 41, Audioslave. It's not metal, but it's definitely rock. It's definitely good. It's more heavy than some, of course. Kind of like Soundgarden. Soundgarden was phenomenal, epic, and it's so sad to see that somebody passed away, just like so many other good artists. Oh, Ghost. Definitely, they have some really good music. I don't think I've heard their first album, to be honest. Um, so I'll have to do that. I've heard some of the recent stuff. Cannibal Corpse Kill, of course. Doom, the original soundtrack. Yeah, because I think Megadeth did a song. I'm not sure if that's the album for that or not. I don't know. I do remember them doing or talking about that. Ever Since Fallen, yeah, that one's a really good. Pantera, of course, Reinventing the Steel. That was a very phenomenal album. And that's one that I have definitely owned myself. I'm pretty positive of that. I just don't remember the cover of that well, but maybe I do. Pig Destroyer, Terrifier. I don't know if I know that one or not, but it looks like a cool cover, so I might have to check that out. Got some interesting nips on that. Celtic Frost. Oh, now this is one that a friend of mine at work had told me about. 2006. This is Monostat. I think I hope I'm not very good at pronouncing some words, so pardon my pronunciation of that. Anyway, I've heard some of their stuff. I thought, oh my god, this sounds like so much like these other songs. So I wonder. I have a feeling that they probably did the songs themselves before all these other bands kind of did kind of a replicant of the song. It's similar, very similar. It's kind of like one of my coworkers also likes Head PE, I think is what it's called. And if you listen to the songs and you listen to other songs, you know that it's pretty darn close to it. They don't even try to hide it too much, which is kind of interesting. And that's why I told her, it's like, what does that sound like to you? And she listens to it. The one song that's from her favorite, one of her favorite bands she's listened to. And I go, doesn't that sound like this? And then she goes, you're absolutely right. It's like, yeah, I know I'm right. Because the ears are always listening to songs. I might not know how to play an instrument, but I damn well know my music when it comes to the song. If I hear it and it sounds vague, even vaguely familiar, even just parts of it, usually I can pick it out pretty easy. I might not know the song, but I definitely know it's been done before or similar. There's a lot of songs out there. What they do is they do a certain portion of a song and they tweak it a little bit to where it sounds a little bit different. It's like a higher or lower octaves on the notes, but the melody is about the same. So it's rather interesting when you actually really, really listen. And I've been trying to do a lot more isolation of trying to, you know, get rid of in my head, get rid of the vocals, get rid of some of the guitars, listen to the drum, listen to the bass, listen to the guitars as a separate part of the song itself to hear that complexity of the song and what it sounds like and how much they're really doing in the song. And actually, there is one band, the one bass player, I ain't gonna mention who, but if you really listen hard to the bass guitars on one very popular band, quite a bit of the bass playing is pretty close to the same thing on almost all the songs. There's variations in parts, but it has a familiar feel to the actual way they do their playing of the bass guitar, which I didn't catch on to until years later. And they've had I don't know how many albums. They're a really big band. I will say that much, but I ain't gonna squeal on them at all. If you can figure it out, let me know in the comments below which one you think that I'm talking about. So anyway, Iron Maiden, of course, we all love and know Iron Maiden. I love their songs. I wasn't a big huge fan when I was younger, but as I'm getting older, my son's gotten into it, and I have gotten into it a little bit more. The Book of Souls is, I guess, apparently I'm really gonna have to listen to that one a little more. I probably heard some of the songs playing, of course, on the radio. Deftone, Diamond Eyes. So, like I said, I don't know the songs sometimes, but I definitely know the song. Incubus, The Morning View. I definitely remember their stuff, but I don't know if I remember the No. Oh, Nice to Know You. Wish You Were Here. Oh yeah, Wish You Were Here. Of course, I remember that because of my ex-wife. Go figure. Avenged Sevenfold, City of Evil. That's another one. It's one of the popular ones, the major albums. City of Evil from Avenged Sevenfold. I don't know if I remember much of the songs from that one. I might have heard it, and I just don't. I just don't know. Um, some of the other one, Kill Switch Engage, The End of a Heartache. Ghost. That's another one. 2010. No. See, like I said, I didn't know all this stuff. Oh, this is in 2012. Wow, that is that old. Because I love that album. Well, at least some of the songs on Gojira. See, I hadn't heard of them. Like it's like Ghost was one of those ones I didn't hear until much later. Um, Unfortunately, I'm being exposed for all this stuff. Oh, oh. Wait a minute here. This is one thing I did not see before. I just now saw this. There's a face along with a mask. Now, I don't know if anybody else did. There's even a grinning face if you really look at it. Um, it just popped up here because all I saw was the top part of the album cover. It's for Slipknot. And it's the one I've seen and I own myself with the zippered lips, the Sublime verses. But if you take the picture and take out the zipper part and you look straight about where the top of the mask is, you can see these really evil like looking eyes with it looks like a nose. And then off to the left, it kind of looks like a skull or a face on that left side. And possibly a mouth on the right. That is crazy. It looks like a woman screaming. She's got her lips. You can see her lips here on the far right, right where the rip is. And there's like a white spot. That's her teeth. And then just above that, it looks like a lip. Wow. I've seen, this has been what? 2002. Wow. That was their first album. I think that was it, wasn't it? No, maybe not. I don't know. But anyway, no, it wasn't because that was before that. That's not it. That's anyway. Well, that was rather. Wait a minute. Oh, this is yeah, it is. Okay, sorry. This has got Duality and Before I Forget. That's one of my songs. So it wasn't the very first. I don't know what I was thinking, but anyway, I'm thinking of my son because he was born in 2004, and I could have sworn they started around 2004, a little before that. I think it was just me a few years before that when I first heard their very first album that came out. But anyway, yeah, that kind of creeps me out a little bit because I didn't see that before. That is weird. And if you look in the right below the zipper, it looks like a hand, like this, and the wrinkles, like this. Like there's two hands put together or hands reaching out. You know, that's what it does. It looks like. I wonder if they took images over top of that and put it into the mask to make it. That is creepy. Wow. This is my artistic eye going. Sorry, people. Yeah, you need to check this album cover out. I didn't even know that before. There's like at least 1, 2, 3, 4 different things so far. And if you guys see anything else, let me know because I would love to hear what you see in this. Actually, if you look on the right side by the zipper, where the zipper part is, where it's going like this, it kind of looks like there's some gnawing teeth on the side a little bit with some lips possibly, but that might be pushing it. I don't know. Or a whole face. Oh, you know what? Right there it is. You can see lips, but you can also see, if you look, the lips itself could be an eye, like it's really dark, and then there's a gnawing teeth with a lip just above it in bright red that's facing like this. And the mouth of the woman is actually the eye of the face. Yeah. See, I'm tripping. I'm not on anything. Trust me, honest to God. It's like, man, it's that. Yeah, it was just weird. I just never looked at it that intensely before. Queens of the Stone Age was another one, like Clockwork. I know some of their stuff. I'm not super into. I've never been that much into them, but I do know them. Red Hot Chili Peppers, of course. Stadium Arcadium. I'm sure I know every single one of those. Who knows? For a rock band. Alice in Chains, of course. Give Black Gives Way to Blue. I don't remember what songs are in this. Check my brain. I think I remember that. Black Gives Way to Blue, Private Hell, and Your Decision. Go figure, right? Rammstein Mutter is another one, and Rammstein's definitely really good. I think I'm getting a little long on my podcast, so I think I'm going to end it. Oh, I got to the wrong page. I was checking out my stream times. I gotta mention this one before I go. It's Tool 10,000 Days. I remember that one very well for a lot of the songs. I always have like some of their music, all their music. So, yeah, interesting. Excuse me. Foo Fighters was mentioned. White Stripes, of course. I'll go real quick. Mastodon was definitely a good stuff. Called Crack the Sky. Oh, Lamb of God, Ashes of the Wake, definitely a good album. And I didn't hear that until later, unfortunately, because I thought they were a Christian metal band. Go figure. Wonder where I got that idea from. Through their name, possibly. Anyway, so I will say goodbye for now. Maybe I'll retouch this on my next stream if I don't have anything else that I want to talk about, or what I might come up with. It's hard saying. I'm always looking for new articles, out there about certain topics, things that are happening in the music industry. I might not get on it right away because I only stream Friday, Saturday, but I will try to touch on it if I hear about it. If you guys hear anything, let me know in the comments. I will try to look it up, find out about it, and talk about it. If you guys want to talk about something, please feel free to mention it to me. I would love to hear your comments. And I'm sorry if you guys were on there chatting live, which I don't think you were. I need to put that on the other page so I can see the stream chat and my notes down here of things that I'm watching and stuff like that. But I want you to know, don't forget, headbang that like and subscribe button so that way we, you and me, you especially, to help me become huge, so that way we can talk to the metal bands we all know and love, especially the people that make the music itself. That's what it's about. That's what the Voice of Metal is. That's what I'm going to try to accomplish, because this is one of those things that I want to know myself. Go figure. Somebody's listening to you somewhere else. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care. Don't forget, headbang that like and subscribe button. Voice of Metal. Tell your friends. If you see me out in Denver, Colorado, and you've seen my stream, let me know. I would love to hear from you, because I'm sure that maybe some of the people might know my face, because I've been to several concerts in the Springs and Denver in the last year, probably about 5 or 6 different ones. I'm gonna go see let's see here, Soulfly, I'm hoping. And now I forgot the name of the group. Oh my god. My brain's going dead. But anyway, I will definitely be at different concerts. And I think there's a couple other ones. I would like to have gone to Raven Black, but I don't know if I can make that one because it's on a Wednesday. And I got things going on Wednesday. So that is one that I would love to go see, because she's got some phenomenal music. Like some other people, I think she's going to be huge. Bloody Wood, of course. King 810 is another one that's not super huge. That are, and even the Nova Twins. They're not really metal, but they are, and they have a very good, unique sound. Especially the one song, the newest song, one of the newer songs. It's a rather interesting song. It's a very interesting topic. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care, and I hope to see you again. Sorry about it being so long. Have a good night, and headbang on, people. Headbang on. Take care.